Alright, so today we're going to be showcasing 3 Azur figures. Now before we get into this, I do want to thank Buy for sponsoring today's video. Buy is a proxy shipping service that allows you to buy from Japanese websites that don't ship outside of Japan, like Melon Books, Yahoo Auctions, Mercari JP. So how it works is you use the service to buy from a seller, the seller ships it to Buy, and then Buy will ship it out to you. I usually use them when I'm looking for more older anime merchandise, older series or figures I may have missed out on because the Japanese secondhand market is a lot easier to find stuff, at least in my experience. So I'll leave a link down below in the description if you want to sign up and use their service. Alright, now I guess first things first, we'll start off with Illustrious. First up is her box. Now her box is pretty standard fare when it comes to figure boxes, I guess. It's got like that weird window cutout at the front, images on the back. The best part of the box is definitely the side photo. That looks great. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Inside the box, you will get the plain black oval base. You get 2, I don't know what to call these things. And then you get a stand and a vase with flowers in it. And you get Illustrious. Assembly-wise, not that difficult to put together. There's 4 peg holes for the stand, 2 pegs for her feet, and then 4 more peg holes for the robes. The most difficult part is probably going to be getting the robes in. You kind of have to get it around her hand and also try to get them in the right positions to get into the hole, but once you stick them in, it's pretty snug. The figure is nice, but I think for like the full price that it is, it definitely leaves much to be desired. My biggest nitpick with the figure herself is probably gonna be her face. I don't know, there's just something about it. Maybe it's the red lips in comparison with the actual illustration that it's based off of. I think it's pretty close. There's just something about it that just feels off. It could just be me. And my second nitpick is definitely the skin tone for her. I feel like she's a little bit too pale. If you compare her with like promotional photos, for example, there's a lot more saturation and gradation in the tones of her skin. IRL, it looks a lot more pale. She looks a lot more Snow White, primarily on the upper body and her face. When it comes to like her hips and her legs, definitely there's a lot more tonal variation there. I think the overall figure looks nice. Clothing is pretty detailed. I like the pose based off a great illustration, and I really like Chinese dresses, so you guys know I had to get this one. The biggest praise I can probably give for this one is definitely the sculpt. Her body proportions are, especially the backside.
Ooh boy.
I guess the other last nitpick I'd probably say is the black oval base, but I mean, it's all right. I did read some comments on MFC that say that you can display her without the black oval base. I've yet to try it. I'll probably put some footage here of me trying it and seeing how it is. So yeah, that's also an option, I guess. Availability for her, she's pretty much available in most stores, I think. In fact, you can actually get her on discount on AmiYami right now. She has like the big, well, not the big, but she has a red sale sign on there. So you know you're getting a good deal at that point. I think I picked her up for like 26,000 yen, I think. And she's discounted to about 19,000 yen, which is a pretty big discount. Next up we have here is Azuma. Azuma's box is fairly similar design to their Sirius. There's a lot of similarities between that figure and this one. Design of the box itself with the graphic elements, pretty much the same. Inside the box you will get the base, which is very similar to Sirius's base, except this time circular, and you will get this piece of furniture with a mirror on it. You can also detach the mirror as well, so if you want to display her without the mirror, that's also a possibility, but I figured I would just display her with the mirror because you can see both sides of the figure, the front and the back. She also has 2 chest pieces, one with the button kind of like fighting for its life, and then one where it just gave up, understandable. And then of course you have Azuma. Now Azuma actually came with 2 versions, so this is the full rigged out version, I guess you could say, but there is a light equipment version as well. That one I don't think comes with the furniture or the extra chest piece, it just comes with Azuma herself. So it's based off of one of my favorite skins in the game, and she looks gorgeous. Just that backside curve, you know what I'm talking about. It's pretty much top tier altar quality. What more can you expect? Very nice shade of dark blue for her hair and also the dress. Details on the dress, you can see the flowers and also the sort of circular wave pattern, I guess you could say, as well as the flowers in her hair, her dainty little fingers, facial expression. Perfect, everything. Alter did a fantastic job. She's great. Top tier everything. Availability for her, the figure market is pretty oversaturated, at least when it comes to Azur that I've noticed. She's also on sale at AmiYami now, I think, but I believe for around 25,000 yen, I think. If you want her pre-owned, you can get it for even cheaper. I think that comes close to like 20,000 yen. Stellar figure for a great price, at least for discount anyways. I think she's a little, maybe just a little bit overpriced for what I paid. So we have Taiho from Mimioi, 1/4 scale. This is her race Queen Enraptured Companion version. Her box design is actually pretty nice. I like the minimalistic look. It's very similar to their other boxes that they've done for their other 1/4 scales. So if you've seen Duke of York or Prince of Wales, I have done videos on those two. I'll leave the video down below in the description if you want to watch that video. Inside the box, you will get the base, which is a very thick piece of acrylic. Now, one thing about the base I will say is that it's very easily scratchable, because I'm looking at it right now and I have this like big gash that has destroyed the black paint underneath. I don't exactly know how I did that, because maybe it's when I was like sliding the base across the surface, but like I don't think it should get that bad, right? Be careful with the base, because this thing can get dinged up pretty easily. And then of course you get Taiho herself, and she is a pretty big girl, being 1/4. Assembly wise, it's very easy. Peg holes on the base, and then you have these big foot pegs attached to Taiho's feet. I'm really glad that you went with the red instead of just clear transparent. I don't know, I think it just gives a little bit more personality. And then you just push the figure in and you're good to go. I do like her pose. Some people might find it a little bit awkward because this is based off of her laying down, because she's laying down on a car in the original illustration, but I think it looks fine. I love her skin tones. There's some nice gradation and variation in the tones there. I love the red jacket. It really makes her pop. Being a race queen figure, she's got that really like reflective, glossy outfit, which is standard fare for them. The best thing about this figure is probably the sculpt. Like the hip to thigh ratio is ridiculous. Not to mention her jugs either. You can literally feel the weight just by looking at them. And all the little details, like the clothing just kind of digging into the plump skin. The people at Mimioi are very cultured. Yeah, she's a fantastic 1/4, definitely one of the best I've seen in a while. And I'm glad Mimioi has jumped into the 1/4 market, because the 1/4 figure game has kind of been dominated by Fring most of the time. So it's nice to see other manufacturers get in there. Now, actually, even before this figure actually came out, there was a little bit of, I don't want to say controversy, but I guess like fear was kind of spreading among the people who ordered her. She first released back in China in early July, and then released for us global collectors in September. So pictures of her were already spreading out on the internet early on. And a lot of the Chinese collectors were really kind of spreading fear when it came to her face, her mouth specifically. There were a lot of pictures that really showed it having a really big buck tooth problem. Sorry if you didn't actually see it before, and now you can see it now that I've mentioned it, and you can't unsee it. I apologize. Her mouth definitely had an issue of them leaving the gap a little bit too open, I'd say. It looks really bad if I take like a 100mm macro and I zoom in really close at this angle. Like you can definitely see the big gap, and she kind of has that bucktooth look going on. But honestly, from a good distance like this, you really got to stare at it and look at it, because it's kind of like in the shadows. It doesn't really bother me too much, like unless I look really, really close. I don't know how you would go about fixing this on your own if you really wanted to. I don't know, maybe grab some whiteout. That sounds like a terrible idea, don't do that. But yeah, aside from that, I don't think there's any major problems with her. She looks great. Oh, I guess two weird things that I noticed. The armpits are shaded in a much more darker orange. That might have been on purpose, of course, because it's, I don't know, the armpit area. I'm not an armpit guy, but I know people out there exist. Maybe someone at Mimioi really likes armpits. Who knows? It's also very reflective and very shiny. I don't know why that is. And if you actually like feel that portion, it feels completely different than the rest of the figure. Like if I touch her thigh here and then I feel this armpit portion, like it feels weird. It feels like it's wet and it's slimy. It's weird. I don't know if that was an artistic choice, just something I figured I'd mention. And another thing is that her nips underneath her top are actually sculpted. I think that actually goes for a lot of figures, but like you would never know, because a good portion of them aren't meant to be cast off. If you don't know what cast off is, cast off means that the clothes are removable. She is not a cast off figure, but I've seen pictures on the internet where some people have taken the liberty to damage, well, not damage, they removed her top and turned it into like this really weird bondage, not safe for work figure. I'm not gonna show any pictures here because I don't wanna get demonetized. I'm already treading on the line very thinly here. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, those are it for the Azur Lane figures today. I'd probably recommend every single one of them. The next Azur Lane figure we're probably gonna be taking a look at is gonna be New Jersey, the 1/4 scale, her bunny version from Freeing. I just paid that off yesterday, and I don't know how long Amyam is gonna take to ship that out, because they've been transitioning to a new warehouse and it's been taking them a lot longer than they thought. I don't want to say anything since I don't have it here, but I'm very confident that Taiho here is going to be much better quality than that one, just because I feel like Mimioi is a better manufacturer than Freeing, but that might just be me, but we'll see. So yeah, stay tuned for that one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Big thanks to Seswat, Beast,
Ralku, Hentia, Wandering Kitsune, Baboon Chemist, Higeki, OP Magician, Digital Next, Ishitaru, Ultra Blue, Type Mild, Zeta, Melindy Liu, John So, and Jacob Price.